Hello, my wonderful, amazing artists. It's me, Miss Abby. And today we're talking about art in the city. Now, whenever you go out and about in the city, especially in Boston, we have the Common. There you see these sculptures they're high up, they're made of like stone or bronze, they're really sturdy, and they're usually high up on a pedestal, and then they have a person on them. Sometimes they're on a horse, or in the South End, there's the Harriet Tubman sculpture. Those are called monuments. Monuments are sculptures that, or sometimes they're also paintings, but they're mainly sculptures in the city. So not in someone's home, not in a museum. They are out in the city, sometimes in a park, always where people can see them and, take pictures in front of them or wherever. Today, we're getting inspired by monuments. Monuments specifically are sculptures that are in public places like parks that celebrate a specific person or group of people. Kind of if you think about like a real life hero of some kind. For example, in New York City, there's one about firefighters. And in the South End, there's one of Harriet Tubman. And so today we're thinking about what if I could create a monument? Who do you want to see celebrated around your city as you're walking around? Who do you want to see celebrated at the park in your neighborhood? Is it one person? Is it a group of people? It can be in a monument. It can represent one specific person. Like if you want to create a monument for Harriet Tubman, or you can create a monument for a group of people like firefighters or sanitation workers or really helpful or people who choose to volunteer. You get to think, who do you want to celebrate in your city, in your neighborhood, and why? It could be a musician or a creative person who's inspired a bunch of people. It can be someone in your family or community that does a lot of volunteer work and helps a lot of people. It can be it can celebrate an important part of our local ecosystem. Like I just learned that earthworms are really helpful. So we're going to design a piece of art that celebrates something important in your city that you want everyone to see in your neighborhood. So, this project to create a monument of something that you want to celebrate or someone is a choose your own adventure project. That means you can choose from a couple different options. One option is to draw. Here is my one of my examples. I had a lot of fun doing this. And that was that I created a monument to nurses because right now nurses are really important, but they've always been involved in helping people and they've always been involved. Also, my grandma was a nurse who specialized in helping women who were going to have babies, and she worked at a health clinic that provided free support to pregnant women in the city of New Haven in the 70s. So I wanted to celebrate nurses. And I celebrated nurses in my monument design I drew it with a marker. Another way you can create a monument is to use scissors and glue and scrap paper to create a collage. So cutting out, gluing things together. You can cut out pictures from magazines or junk mail. And I also incorporated some drawing. This monument I designed was inspired by the artist Fern Cunningham. She's an African-American sculptor who builds big, giant sculptures in Boston. And you can see some of her artwork around the city. For example, and her artwork is all about telling and celebrating the history of African-American people and creating and celebrating African-American people using bronze sculpture. And I thought she deserved a monument. For example, I created this monument to celebrate Jim Henson, who was a really creative person who created movies and TV shows like The Muppets, Dark Crystal, and Sesame Street. And he made millions of children laugh and giggle and smile. And he used puppets and DIY materials to do that. So I created this sculpture to celebrate Jim Henson. And I used recycled materials. It doesn't look like Jim Henson. He doesn't look like this. But it definitely shows some of his ideas and his values. Okay, so those are 3 different ways of creating a monument. Now, I hope you have fun making art inspired by monuments and celebrating things that you think are important, and thinking about art in public places like the park. Bye! Have fun making art. Good luck!